Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my coverage of GT7's update 1.32. So in this video I'm going to talk about the 4 brand new cars that came with update 1.32, those being the 2 Super Formula brands, I guess. So it is obviously the same chassis, pretty much same everything. With those cars, they're just kind of branded as Honda and Toyota, but they are identical. However, the game classes them as 2 separate cars, so I will just kind of follow suit with that. Then we also had the AMG GT3, which is the Evo version of a car that we previously have in the game. So obviously that model very much outdated, being a 2016 model. So we now have the revamped version. In my opinion, it is a very good car and a massively worthy addition. Obviously bringing that more, the Group 3 roster up to date. And then we also have the Jaguar XJ220, which is a supercar that a lot of people have wanted to come to this game for the longest time, myself included. So let's start off with the Super Formulas and talk about what these cars are like. And in my opinion, these are absolutely fantastic. Personally, I like the way they sound, I like the way they feel, and there is just something about these cars that is just massively improved over the SF19, especially in terms of kind of appeal and design. For me personally, the way the kind of wings at the front and rear curve around just make the whole car look a lot better, and not only that, they feel absolutely amazing to drive. Now I don't know if it's just me, but one thing I have noticed since the new physics update, and obviously using these cars is the only way we've ran them is on the new physics, there was quite a cool little feature to these cars. So if you remember prior to update 1.31, when was running on the old physics and such, and whenever you'd run the SF19, it was like pretty much playing Wipeout. It was just kind of on rails in a way. Now when I've gone and used the SF23, what I've noticed is that you can lose traction, however it's very much catchable. I feel like the new physics engine definitely lends itself to these kind of more aero or formula cars. So for me, the new physics with the SF23, that combination is absolutely fantastic, whether you are on wheel or controller. I genuinely feel like the cars just feel much more down to earth and much more, I guess, reactive and not as kind of, just on absolute rails where you can't lose the rear end or anything like that. They feel like, I guess they're fast, they're very aerodynamic, you can smash the corners at a lot of speed, but there is still that kind of risk of this rear end can go and you will be forced to catch it. However, the plus side of that is it is extremely, I guess not too easy, but it is manageable to catch that rear end. So whether you go for the Honda or the Toyota version, in all honesty, it just does not matter. These cars are absolutely fantastic. They work well with the new physics engine, which personally I don't feel like I can say for every car, since 1.31 physics became a thing, but certainly in terms of how these cars feel and how they race on track, they are certainly fantastic. And in my opinion, the SF23 is a much more improved version over the SF19, whether that just be looks, feel, and just overall how the cars just drive in general. It's a fantastic car. You do have the usual overtake button with this vehicle, so you can basically use it to attack and defend, which adds to your race strategy. In terms of the fuel use and all that stuff, it's fantastic. Obviously it's a full-blown formula car, so the fuel usage is great, the tyre wear is fantastic on them, and overall this is a very solid addition to Gran Turismo 7, and I am glad this partnership is a thing. Plus, the plus side is that new cafe menu is rather quite fun, if not a little bit kind of all over the place for the Fuji event. So another race car next, and let's talk about the AMG GT3 Evo model. So essentially this is the car that we previously had in the game, however it's an evolution. So if you don't know how GT3 cars work, essentially they'll bring a model out and then they'll kind of evolve it over time instead of just having to go for a brand new model. So it kind of makes sense that, if you've already got a very solid platform in place but it's beginning to get outdated, you evolve that car and it kind of increases the lifespan of that model before you then eventually obviously will replace it further down the line. So the AMG GT3 Evo that we have in this game is a fantastic machine, and in all honesty it feels a lot better than the previous model, the 2016 model obviously I'm referring to. Now, whilst in my opinion the 2016 model is a lot more planted and a lot more stable, I certainly feel the Evo version achieves what it's meant to do, which is, you know, overall being a much more reactive car. It feels less bulky, although it's the same car. It's much more reactive and much more kind of twitchy on how you kind of go into the race with it. You know, I've noticed that, well, you know, it's quite easy to lose the rear end. However, again, it's very catchable. And I'd certainly say when it comes to racing in a pack or racing in traffic, the Evo is the one you want to go with, just because of that extra, I guess, reaction with the car. It just makes it much easier to kind of thread through packs or race in a pack over the 2016, which I felt was quite stiff and just kind of, you know, far too stable. You know, it was quite a bit of a brute of a car, and it just felt like a bit of a barge as well. So, you know, overall the Evo is definitely a step up. Now, I have done a head-to-head comparison between the two. I'm not going to try and spoil that too much, but yes, the Evo is overall a fantastic machine, whether you want to race it on, like I am here, the Nordschleife, or maybe something like Brands Hatch and such. I feel like this is going to be a very popular car, especially in recent times within those Group 3 events and such. So expect to see a lot of this Evo model, obviously with it being fresh to the game. So yes, this is a fantastic addition in my honest opinion. Now let's move on to the final car of the update, the only road car with this update, the Jaguar XJ220. Obviously, I believe it was on the leaked car list for the longest time, and it is finally here after people wanting this car for a very long time. Myself included in that, in all honesty. I absolutely love the XJ220. There's just something about it, and I have a very good memory of this car on a DVD way back when, where Martin Brundle basically spoke about his time with it when he went for the speed record with it, and then kind of what it was like in a kind of daily perspective. I just remember him saying the brakes were absolutely terrible, the engine it got was not the engine it deserved and such. And yeah, overall though, there's just something about this, the look of this thing, and just the way it is such a big wide car, and it really does feel like that in GT7 as well when you're alongside some of these other cars. It is a massive machine. However, one thing to pleasantly note, that when you fully upgrade this thing, there is a very nice few kind of visual changes that brings it more towards the TWR design, if you've ever seen that version of the XJ220. So there is a lot of customization options. Overall, fully upgraded, is a fantastic machine. There is a lot of power in this car, and it will hit it very quickly. So overall, this is a fantastic supercar. It's a, you know, a timeless classic in my opinion, and I'm glad to see it enter GT7 finally in all its glory and detail. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are wanting it for, because of how I guess detailed GT7 is, in terms of, you know, nothing is left out in terms of the detail of these cars. People wanted that, and in all honesty, it does feel like a massively detailed model and a massively worthy addition. So there we have it. The 1.32 cars overall are absolutely incredible. We have more race cars than road cars for once, which is rather quite a nice change, and in all honesty, they are all very good cars for their own reason. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, turn notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me, and I will see you later on as we continue our coverage of update 1.32. Have a fantastic day, guys. Peace.